you.
All for you. Freedom!
Keep your ear to the ground.
Talking about the freedom!
It's the best show in town.
Let's show me that freedom! Well.
Hello, everyone. This is another beautiful Banter Blitz session. Hope you're all doing great. I saw Levon Aronian still giving his simul. I think he probably is coming to an end very soon. Looked like he was doing some damage there. Playing very well as expected. I, in my turn, will just play the Banter Blitz, all the usual, accepting all the premium challenges on chess24.com. So if you are watching and you are a premium member, you can challenge me. My name is Anish Giri. My account is Anish Giri. And my motto is Anish Giri. And I have 41 challenges. And I'm accepting premiums. And first will be Riddhi Patel or Patel. It's a WCM, meaning woman, candidate master. A title player from India, it seems. I will play my beloved Sicilian defense. And in this game, I am going to try and reach the dragon variation, which she prevents with bishop b5 check. I will play bishop d7. I can also play knight to d7. These are two different approaches. Bishop d7 leads to a more simplified game, but I believe in my superior understanding will still prevail despite the simplifications. I think d5 is a very strong move in the center. Now after e5, we get a French structure with the light squared bishop traded and the knight comfortably developing itself via e7. I should be doing quite well, shouldn't I? I don't want to release the tension in the center just yet, but I think I should sooner or later. Let me just toss in one more waiting move just to see how she reacts. I'll play a6. Not a bad move. But I want to wait a move. I think rook d1 here is a good, useful move. Maybe she'll play knight d2. Then I'll be happier to take on d4. This is a common idea. You're waiting for the knight to get developed. a4 is a very much weakening move. Now after cd4, I'm going to control that b4 square. I'll install my bishop right there, so you see which square I have in mind. I think that she thought I'm going to expand on the queen side with b5 and prevented that, but actually that was a fake threat. I just made a waiting move, hoping for a move like a4, where I can benefit, gain some ground. Now I still have the access to the b4 square, and my knight will land there. I'm reading the chat in the Chess24 in the Chess24 chat. The link to that is chess24.com/en/live/video/e1b1 1721 29 20 and 9 dash banter dash blitz dash with dash Anish dash Giri. Simple as that. Now the a5 pawn is a little bit weak, but I'm not sure if it's weak enough to be captured. But let's try nonetheless. So the question in the chat, hi Anish, what is your favorite planet? Is it in our solar system? My favorite planet is planet Earth. General says, Anish, your team has lost. Haha. I do not know what you're talking about. There is no team. I'm playing against the premium members here. My favorite planet. Yeah, I already said the planet Earth, right? Yeah, a very interesting topic, dear friends. Space and all that. I just joined Chess24. I saw because a number of video series. Which would you suggest? Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The opening series, she did a Night of series. I did a Night of series as well after that. And I think that mine is more up to date because I did mine later. But in terms of opening series, what she has is a very nice triangle system series and a very nice Scotch defense for white. I think that's still a nice series. They are both a little bit old, but I think the quality is so high that they're still reasonably relevant. And especially when it comes to ideas and typical middle game plans, these things are timeless. Knight takes b2 is a tempting sacrifice. I think I'm better off postponing because a lot of trades are incoming. I watched 100 Brains as January. Oh, okay. But we move on, my friends. We move on from defeats and victories. Knight d2 is trying to trade. That is all right. We will trade. We are pawn up at the end of the day. And the famous rule, when up in material, simplify the game. If you'll excuse me, I might have a small bite of chocolate here, but I will try to eat it as quietly as possible, so you will not have to endure the jealousy and the pain. I'll go back with the queen. I think it's better off drop to b6 right away. Now I'm just a pawn up. I will enjoy it. I can trade queens to be more instructive. Oh no, I dropped the chocolate. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. It's such a waste, but I caught it right there. So it's all good. Now we get to trade the queens. I have pressure on the d pawn and the b pawn. On top of that, I have an extra pawn already. So I should be winning. And what do you think about 1f4? 1f4 is a possible move. It has a possible move. I will play a game with it perhaps today and try to explain you the ups and the downs. That's very clever, but let me just simplify the game. Grab second pawn, and now I can grab the f2 pawn as well. And 2 pawns is more than enough in the rook endgame. I should slightly watch out for my back rank, but there isn't much damage my opponent can do in such a limited setting. Do you treat it like a reverse Dutch? Yeah, obviously 1f4 is a reverse Dutch in some way. The one time I get to watch his Banter Blitz live, he decides to be all good and talking chess moves. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a conscious decision I took, and it's more of an experiment. I just wanted to see if I'm still capable of starting and ending one stream in a row without any nonsense. And I'm going to insist on trying to complete this small but rather meaningful to me mission. Now we play Mr. Alfredo. He's a premium member, not titled though. Let's play 1f4 and show you what it is. So the 1f4, grabbing some kingside space, knight to f3. Now see, black already controls quite a few central squares. Now white has a choice of whether developing the bishop to the king side on g2 or towards the queen side with e3, bishop b5. I'll go for the e3 setup. Now white has a lot of different options here. Let me be instructive and show you the main idea of the reversed Dutch or the so-called bird opening. I'll try to show you the typical ideas of the Leningrad Dutch. Leningrad Dutch is an opening that is or should be dear to me, because first of all, I am born in what used to be called Leningrad, and I am currently Dutch. I think Chess24 should allow us to put Patzer as a title, much more inclusive. Definitely, a Chess24 master could be a title for being a very well-behaving lover of chess. He's playing far too well. I'm not able to demonstrate the main purposes of these positions. Let me try to go h3. I'm afraid he will take and play e5. That's a very good idea. Okay, e6 is slower. That helps me. Now I will be able to show what white wants. And white wants to eventually get that pawns going with e4. And then f4 pawn is right there next to that e4 pawn. And white will have some sort of a majority there in the center kingside area. Not really majority, more of a space, really. Do you know 6a4 Knight? Can you say something about it? Definitely, I know all 6 moves in the Knight. 6a4 amongst one of the more critical ones. And I speak about them in great detail in my Knight course. But if opportunity comes, I will definitely share my thoughts on this move today. And you keep winning invitationals, the Magnus Invitational, the Mr. Doji Invitational. When are you going to organize win the Anish Invitational? I will be obviously proud to have an invitational named after me. But you need connections for that. You need connections. You need the cash. And I have some cash, some connections, but not sure enough to organize my own invitational just yet. Now, I would like to get that control over the c4 square, but that's not really feasible. I think c4 and rook d3 is very strong. My opponent keeps on playing very well so far. It is slightly concerning me, but I will try to resist. I haven't been able to develop my pieces completely and harmoniously just yet. I'm trying to play an instructive game here, but I certainly need more help from my opponent, because if he keeps playing this well, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate all the strengths of my position. The long-term plan here, guys, is to go g4, at some point g5, but you really need your pieces developed. So I will try to get the b1 knight into the game, but he will definitely have to help me there. I was mostly counting on him playing suboptimal moves, to be honest. For an offbeat knight f6 move, would you look at h3 or rook g1? h3 is not so offbeat. h3 used to be very popular at some point. Rook g1 also is popular, but rook g1 is definitely more offbeat. I think you will surprise your opponent with rook g1 more than with h3. That said, my students of my knight, of course, are not going to be surprised with anything. We looked at all the moves there. Speaking of cash, now that crypto is crashing, well, will the players insist FTX point is up more BTC for the crypto cup? No, the Bitcoins in the FTX cup are the bonuses. So I think we should not be. Let me see what crashing means. Let me just check the Bitcoin price. Oh, another small hit today. Oh, another small hit today. Let me see what happened in the last hour. Oh, wow. There was a dip after 4 o'clock. When I started my first Banter Blitz session, probably. Wow, that was a serious dip there, by the way. Some kind of 5% or something. Yeah, I wouldn't call it crashing, though. But you know what they say. You know what they say. Let's bring the knight into the game. A rough patch for crypto these days. But let's not forget that we started from the bottom. Now we're here. And a lot of volatility is nothing new in the world of cryptocurrencies. We're still much higher than we used to be a few months ago. So no need to panic, I believe. And if you are believing in the long-term value of your investment, you shouldn't be too concerned. Okay. Let's move on and accept a challenge from someone that I haven't accepted before. I can't remember. Okay, let's accept a person called Crypto. We spoke about crypto. Now we have crypto with a K. And if you have not mentioned yet your Knight, of course, how are people going to learn if you don't advertise? That is true. I do have a Knight, of course, out there on Chessable that you should all get. What do you think is a good option like the knight of dragon against d4? Are you planning to do a course against d4? I am planning to do a course against d4, but I have to be honest. I think the Grunfeld defense is a very dynamic opening. And Peter Fiedler already did a course on it. And I think it's pretty good opening to complement the knight and the dragon. So as of now, I would recommend you check out his Grunfeld course. King's Indian is a little bit different in its nature. It's much more closed. I would say the King's Indian goes okay with the French. I think the Dutch defense, the Dutch stone wall goes very well with the French defense. Mikhail Botvinnik famously played both at the peak of his career. So I think that's what I would recommend. I'm thinking about sending my knight towards e4. I'll do it right now, I think. In this structure, I'm very happy to have the e-file semi-open. My rook is eyeing that e4 square controls the e5 square. And I think due to my superiority over the central square control, I think I am doing slightly better in a position like this one. I'll develop my bishop, say hello to the queen on c2, and after queen b3, I might offer queen trade, but I will play more ambitiously, keep the queens on the board. Maybe one on the Ragozin. I think there is a course on the Ragozin as well, but perhaps it's a little less recent than the Grunfeld course. Maybe I will get to do a course on Ragozin, but probably not. I was considering various openings against 1d4. I had one very funky idea that I am yet to research. I'm not sure yet if I can make that opening playable, but I have a very interesting opening in mind against 1d4 that I might do a course on later on this year. But I have to do my homework first. I don't want to be recommending some opening that I don't believe in. Anish, our dads were good friends when they studied in Russia, says Anand 1908. That's very possible. My father is a very friendly man. He has a lot of friends. This is very possible. What will you be likely recommending against 24? Yeah, so we spoke about it. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, right now, in terms of an audio recommendation, I recommend you to check out Fiedler's Grunfeld course. But in terms of my own course, I will have to wait and see. Bishop f4 is a good move. He's been waiting with it for a while, but now he decides to do it. I have to say, I was not able to get anything convincing going here. Difficult choice. I have to abandon one of the things, either the e5 square or something else. Knight g4, knight takes e4, d takes e4, knight e5. Bishop takes e5, d takes e5, queen e7. Let's do that. Knight g4 still keeps that hope of controlling the e5 square alive. Should still be enough to confuse my opponent, but I have to say I didn't play it very well. I'm not so happy with what I'm doing. I can take with the knight. I'll go a bit more ambitious with the queen, hoping he'll miss something on f2. Are you going to play in the World Cup? Definitely. I'm definitely going to play the World Cup. Very excited to try my hand at getting back my chance to play for the world title. Anish, with all due respect to Vidit, can you tell why he doesn't qualify to knockouts even after so hard work? We have Vidit had relatively little opportunities, and it was certainly normal that there was a scenario that he wouldn't qualify. There are a lot of good players and less many qualifying spots. So inevitably, some good players are going to be left unqualified. And every time I play these qualifiers myself, I think I need as well a little bit of luck to qualify. So I don't think there's any reason really. It's just very difficult. You've got these tournaments with 16 good players. There are only 8 spots. Half the people go through, half don't. If you play just a couple of those, you might end up not qualifying over and over. But I think if Vidit had played, I don't know, 10 of those tournaments, let's say, he would have qualified in a few of them. And I'm sure he will still qualify in the future, though it's never easy. I don't have very much, but I have an extra pawn here. With Crypto Crash, the Crypto Cup happening. Yeah, I think the I'm even wondering if the exchanges are that bothered with the crash, because I think I really have no clue, but correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but don't the exchanges benefit from sales as well because they take a percentage? Don't exchanges just benefit from volatility, to be honest? Isn't the crypto crash kind of fine for an exchange? Of course, there is a long-term danger for the exchange that people will lose faith in cryptocurrency and will stop buying it at all. But as long as there's some volatility going, I don't think it's so bad for them, right? But I don't know anything about this topic, so just really sorry if I said something stupid. I am sponsored by Optiver, which is a company that trades on stock market, not crypto, but just a stock market. So I am supposed to know a little bit about it, but I really know only the basics. I didn't have the time to delve into the nuances of this fascinating world that is trading, crypto trading, and general stock market business. Okay, let me choose a challenge. Now we will play someone from Spain called Gin. Let me read that name. Ginkgo biloba with an increment. Exciting. 1e4, 1c5. Let's try to get that dragon course again. Tell us something about the mug you're drinking from. Excellent question. This mug is a series of mugs that I have. Different cities on different mugs. This one is from Amsterdam. Very pretty, I think. Very nice design. Very classy mug that we have. I'm very happy with the mug, actually. Not much more I can tell you. Just like the financial world. And just like any other topic but chess, I have very little clue about all these things. So even about the mug, I can only tell you the basics, really. My opponent is slightly toying with the move order. Usually they start between the two, but essentially he can, wow, okay. Castle short is not the most aggressive way of playing, and usually black gets a good position here. If he just plays simple moves, I will just trade, to be honest, and play bishop e6. It's very simple. I could have played it a bit more sophisticated, but I just want to make a point and just develop my bishop to e6. Usually when white castle short in the dragon, due to very good pawn structures that black has, black immediately gets very fine play with even long-term prospects of having play along the c file, and thanks to what could arguably be considered a better pawn structure, black is looking forward to any sort of endgame where he is going to enjoy his one pawn island on the king side, h7, g6, f7, e7, d6, this beautiful pawn island that looks a little bit like the dragon. And that is why the opening is named the dragon opening. Now, at some point, I would like to start heading with my knight towards that e5 square. But first, perhaps I'll send the queen out. Anish, what would you choose? Well, b3 or London system? I've played London system a lot more than I've played b3. I should be aware of knight d5 trick at some point. So I'll play rook f8 for better or worse. What do you think about the Tarash cd5, cd4 line? It is being played in top level games. It's going to be the Berlin versus 1d4. It's played a lot, indeed. Not the most exciting variation, really, but certainly a good weapon if you want to be very solid. So perhaps your analogy with Berlin against 1d4 is a very reasonable one. Berlin draw or Boncloud draw, says Fishrise. Oof. I'm not a big fan of games that have very little value. I believe people like to watch great players play. Excuse me. My God, what a sneeze. What a sneeze. This sneeze could almost kill someone. Okay, so let me reroute the knight. Knight d7. So I'm sorry for sneezing. I'm sure in some cultures, sneezing is really bad. The cultures that I am familiar with don't care so much about sneezing. But in case it's a really bad thing in your country, I'm really sorry about that. No, I don't have COVID. As a matter of fact, I did a test recently, just for fun. I don't have it. At least this test was negative. I'm feeling fine. I don't think I have any symptoms. An occasional sneeze due to something random coming from the tea into your nose can happen. I haven't taken the vaccine. No. I did even have an option, I think, in Holland. I'm not rushing these things. You know, just taking it slow. An interesting decision there ahead of me. Am I going to close the queen side with b4? Am I going to keep it open? Both options certainly possible. I am going to close it with b4. Why not? At the end of the day, the a4 pawn is the color of his bishop. So speaking of this bad good bishops business, I should be doing fine. Why did white not pick the e6 bishop earlier to double the pawns? Good question, my friend. I speak a lot about this pawn structure in my Dragon course. In fact, there, and I really don't want to be over promoting my courses. It happens automatically at this point. So please forgive me for that. It's not even on purpose. But in that Dragon course I was mentioning, I do speak a lot about that pawn structure. And although black has double pawns, his central pawns control quite the crucial squares in the center. And that more than compensates for them potentially being weak. I think I'm going to trade that knight for the bishop. I am transforming my advantage from having a better bishop into having a better pawn structure. Sometimes you got to transform your advantage. That's what they taught me. That's what Capablanca did. That's what all the classics have been doing. I will first play king f7, free my e8 rook, head over to the c file, and enjoy the better pawn structure. Well, now I'm thinking, now that he has opened the h file or threatened to open it, I might swing across to the h file and enjoy the h file for my rook. f5. Now I'm going to capture on g4 with check. And at the end of the day, after capturing on f5, and then capturing on d5, there is a small issue with what I was planning to do, but let me still do that. I'll take on d5. Now the problem is if I take on b3, which I might still do, my rook is going to be a little bit trapped. That slightly bothers me. That slightly bothers me. Is it trapped or not? Oh, it's a tough question there, my friend. It's a tough question. It's a very, I don't know. It's very hard to tell if it's going to be trapped there forever or not. Maybe I shouldn't take the pawn, actually. Let's not do that. Better not sorry than sorry, as they say. Okay, but now I can take and come back. I think. Yeah, now I can take and come back. If you want king g4, yeah, but I've got this mate here along the ranks. Okay, the chat has been activated. Let's read a little bit. All right. Okay. So, in fact, let's accept a game, and then let's accept Ivan Alchemist, and then read up on the chat a little bit. What has happened here? How often do you check your contact email? I think it's been being checked on the daily basis. Do you know who said the quote on the picture hung on your wall? No, I really don't think it's the kind of quote that is attributed to the person, but might very well be. I think it's a little bit too basic, no, to have. Although each basic quote probably has a forefather. Anish is sneezing because of allergies. No, he's allergic to bed puns. No. That's a good joke, though. I'm curious why not more super GMs do what Rapport does and up their rating by playing non-top tournaments. I don't think that that is exactly what Rapport does on purpose, and I don't think that you can up your 8 rating by playing non-top tournaments. I don't think it's so easy. I think that if anything, you are risking more probably as it's hard to say. It depends on the playing style, but it's really not a given that you will gain rating just because you play weaker opposition. I mean, you will gain rating if you play very weak opposition, and few players have done it. They have played. I'm trying to now go after the d5 pawn. I trade the light squared bishops, which is not a great idea positionally, but I am significantly up in development, so I'm hoping I will be able to benefit from that in the endgame. But some players, they have done the this interesting idea of playing really, really weak tournaments for their standards, and then gain like 0.8 rating point per game. So after 9 rounds, you can gain like what, 8 points or something, 7 points. I'll go e6. I will try to somehow dominate his pieces. Bishop h6 is a good try, but he neglects his development really a lot. But it's a little bit dull, and also this you spend 9 days, you gain 8 rating points. You can of course do that over and over and over, and then get like a rating spot or something for the candidates, but the end goal is to become the world champion, and a lot in top chess. I'm just going for knight limitations. I'm going to try to dominate both the knights and make it look very instructive. At the end of the day, you lose a lot of street cred. Oh, look at his knight on g8. And then now look, for argument's sake, let's play a3. Look at his knight on a6. Both his knights are really dominated. Very instructive game here. Yeah, he has no hope of escaping this business. It's really, really bad for him. I'll just bring my king to f4 just for fun. King is nice blocker there for the f-pawn, giving him no hope with h4. I did give him the h-file, but I would guess it's not significant, right? The c-file, I shouldn't have given him the c-file. That was really not clever of mine, but I don't think it makes such a big difference with both the knights being so out of play. But I should have done it a little bit more accurately. I was a bit carried away with the aesthetics of this, to be honest. Was getting a little bit too casual. Wow, now it's difficult to convert. Okay, I'll try to reroute my pieces slowly, but I have severely complicated my own task here. The thing about this, okay, this is a very big mistake. Now he traded his only piece that was active, and that's the rook. Now he is definitely losing completely. Okay, I missed a lot of messages in the chat, I think. Let's see. 1 elo point per patzer, yeah. But again, at the end of the day, you'll really lose the street cred. People will think you are scared of competition. And you will know yourself that you are scared of competition. And even if you qualify to the candidates, is that the kind of player you want to be? And in the candidates, you will have to play all the best players, and you will have lack of practice against those. You will have to probably pay the price. But it's certainly possible. Also, if you do it once, I'm sure they will come up with some idea on how next time to prevent this from happening. And they will adjust the rules a little bit. It's been done it's been done a couple of times by players who want to reach certain rating milestones. So I know a player who wanted to become 2700 player well, he was 2600 player with 26 something, and he just needed a few more points and he went for it. But he anyway became a 2700 player later, also by playing good opposition. So it was not really necessary. Let's play Mr. Okay, let's play a high rated player here, 2700. J Wallin, 9900. Hi, how can you play chess when the heat death of the universe is looming upon us? Oh, do you mean the global warming? Oof, I am rather ignorant about heat death, so I am focusing on my chess. What do you think is a good defense against Catalan structures? Catalan structures. I wouldn't call it structures. I would call it Catalan setup, perhaps. Oof, there are many options against Catalan. Jan Guzman has a series, I think, here on Chess 24. Mr. Jawolin, is not around. I can imagine that. You cannot always be around. You send out the challenge and then you have to go on with your day. Sometimes you just take that small washroom break and there you go. Your opportunity is gone. Let's take another player. Let's take Mr. Sweet Harmony, FIDE Master there with 2800. Today we are fearless facing Sweet Harmony. Let's not play too slow because he seems to be a very strong player. Let's try to focus on the board.
I found one option, Sweet Harmony Cafe and Bakery on South Main Street in Middletown. Is it the one you're looking for?
I wasn't looking for anything, Siri. I never speak to you. And I don't know why you suddenly replied to me. Bye-bye. Interesting. I don't speak very clearly, so sometimes I say words that sound like, hi, Siri. Or hello, Siri, or whatever it is. Let's go A4. Let's play the main line. Let's play a little bit quickly, actually, the opening phase, while we still know it. We develop the pieces. Bring the queen to e2, rook 21, pawn e4. Knight b7, I think is, oh, he can take the sacrificed pawn here. I think I mixed up the line, yeah. No, you don't sacrifice the pawn here. You only do that if black didn't castle. Okay, I mixed up, but it doesn't matter. I'll try to wait. I can now win the exchange, right? Yeah, I can win the exchange. That's nice. Okay, he probably has a lot for the exchange, but at least I have the exchange. Could be worse. I'll try to play it fast and furious. CD. Okay, I should be very careful not to allow bishop d3 there. And now I'll try to grab that c file as quickly as possible. This really is going to be about who is first, who is going to be faster at achieving his goals. I have a feeling objectively black is better here, but maybe not. It's very, very concrete. If I get to that a7 pawn, I'm going to be winning. If not, I'm not going to be winning. He has 2 pawns for the exchange, which is a lot. Okay, so we've got that rook passive at least, but we cannot touch him very much anywhere. That's a little disturbing. He's got that. He's got a lot. Let's go h4. Let's try to annoy him on the king side. And the purpose of that is to keep his queen, in fact, passive on f8. Oof, it's very, very risky what I'm doing. Very risky. I'm not liking it. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go for that g4 push. This game started off really wrongly. Started off real wrong. But maybe what I'm doing will work out. I certainly hope it will. Yeah, but now he blundered mate in 1. That's always helpful. That's, as they say, checkmate goes ahead of everything else. I used what Siri said to triangulate Anish's location. I'm sure he is in Holland. Very impressive, very impressive. Indeed, in Holland we are. Let's play the member, premium member with this long German name. Der Drops ist, I don't know what it means. I'm not going to pronounce it. Maybe it's something awkward. Okay. C4, let's play that Catalan. Okay, he gave a check on before the so-called Bogo Indian. I'll play bishop d2. You can also play knight d2. And after queen e7, I'll play g3. Fianchetto that bishop on g2. Okay, so for those of you who are watching this from YouTube or perhaps Twitch, if it's streamed to Twitch, check out that streaming link on Chess24 where there is a chat, and that chat is the one I'm reading. What do you think about the QID? Its popularity has been declining and there are almost no courses on the QID. It could be because of that AlphaZero games that crash Stockfish in a lot of these QID positions. I think that might be the reason. QID is a very reasonable opening, nonetheless. It's just that there is a lot of strategic risk, a lot more than people used to think. Okay, I should have played something else because I wanted to play c5, but then after bc a3, bishop a5, dc queen takes b2, I realized that I might not be able to trap his bishop. Why are people from Netherlands called Dutch? I have no idea. That's a very interesting question, and it's very confusing as well. Actually, queen c2 is a good move. Now I'm threatening knight g5. I'm threatening c5 as well. I'm not sure how you can defend from both these threats. By accident there, I came up with a reasonable idea. With knight c6, but knight c6 feels very, very dubious. Knight c6 feels very dubious. I have to confess, the Chess24 chat is not very quick. People who are watching here are very shy. Don't like to say too many unnecessary things, but it's also nice. This is also nice. In fact, every message is to the point. There is no nonsense. And all questions are interesting. So maybe sometimes quality goes ahead of quantity. Comes from Ditch, old language, etc. in this area. Interesting. Didn't know about that. Thank you for your insights. Mike H. Katie Anderson says big brain. Katie, I don't know what you're talking about, but thank you. It could be a compliment. Will you write autobiography? Probably one day. I have an idea. Probably I shouldn't share that idea because somebody might steal it and do it instead of me. But I have an idea about a book I'm going to write one day. Did Karan Singh ever do a magic trick off stream for you? We did a magic trick on stream, in fact. He did the magic trick with the mobile phone. I prefer the ones without, because the magic tricks with mobile phones, I believe they can always be done, maybe with some kind of clever apps. I don't know. But I like those ones that you just perform with, with almost no tools. And these are really cool. And I watched one of his recently with Sagar Shah and Amruta from Chessbase India, and he did some very nice magic there. Very nice mind-reading magic. But I also prefer when this magic is performed on me, because then I know that, there's no trickery involved. But magic is fascinating. I love it, especially the mentalism and all this stuff. Very interesting. Okay. Just enjoying the commentary, says Shadowmate. Thank you. That's what I assumed you were. Good. Premium quality nonsense, says Amori. Oh, no. Anish, are you considering adding the important lines feature to your Night of course? Do you think it's needed? If the editors of my Night of course are watching, they are helping me with these kind of things like alternative lines and important lines and all that. I'm not sure. I know, of course, how it all works. I also studied a few Chessable courses, but I don't pay that much attention to these things, but could be helpful indeed. We'll check that out. You can literally give a lecture on random topic. That's a random comment. Wow. Before we dig into this denonym, there are 3 terms we need to define: the and the Old English cousin to or supplement people or nation. You're speaking about Dutch. Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, in the meantime, the game is exciting. My position is winning, but more importantly, his time is running out. What is your favorite hobby? Thanks for doing this. All the best for Champions Chess Tour. Thank you, Srikant. My favorite hobby? Hard to say. I really like chess and other things. Well, I like to watch comedy. And I'm interested in many, many things. Movies, songs. Do you follow any TikTokers? No, I'm really not into TikTok. I have seen it though. I maybe even have a TikTok app, but I really spend very little time watching these short videos. In fact, sometimes very rarely, once a week, for 5 minutes, I am meditating on these Facebook videos where somebody does something like, I don't know, crafting a chair or cutting out, melting a spoon, or I don't know, doing something random, crafting some random stuff very, very slowly. Or, for example, making some kind of ugly room into a beautiful room. And just meditate to that. For 10 minutes, you see in fast forward what is happening there. And it's just very beautiful. I really enjoy that. Very satisfying. Yeah. Do you think Nepo can beat Magnus? Nepo can beat Magnus. Certainly he can. He can certainly beat Magnus. Well, this variation is a theoretical variation of the Alapin, not not Alapin, how it's called, different. It's called the Panov variation, excuse me. And it's a very old line. I used to know it as a youngster. I think black is fine, of course, but it's very complex. I think long castle was the move. I think e5, f4, bishop g4, knight f3. That rings a bell. It's very dangerous for black, to be honest. Back in the day, it was very dangerous. Must still be dangerous. Look, f4. Looks dangerous. Black slightly behind in development there, but he is a pawn up. But he really has to deal with some concrete threats right now. How long does it take to do the knight of class on chessable? Knight g4. Wow, let me think. This is very, very exciting. Bishop b5 does bishop d7. Otherwise, it's checkmate. I can just take fe5. I don't believe knight f2 is there. I will undermine his d4 knight. I think I'm probably winning some material. Maybe bishop b5 check first and then take on d7 was more certain of a victory. Yeah, that was more certain. I made a mistake there. That would have just been completely winning. But this probably also is. I've got knight b5. I don't see how he can defend from knight c7. The idea that Earth is flat probably originated in Netherlands. Wow. The idea that Earth is flat, you mean the time before people knew that it was round or after? Because that time it occurred again, that was kind of the problem. The first time was probably okay, but like the comeback of it. A lot of discussion on Dutch in the chat. People wondering where the word Dutch comes from. Interesting. A lot of historical insights there. But I'm afraid I'm not able to follow all of you. I have severely messed up this game. I'm really angry and upset at myself. I was so winning, and now maybe I'm still so winning, but could have been so much cleaner. I think now I'm completely winning again. I am a piece up. My knight is coming out via c7. I agreed with a sensible idea at first. Well, at first it was probably quite hard. How are you going to imagine that Earth is not flat? Where's the basis for doubt even at first? Eventually, as people learned more, started discovering unusual patterns. Can I play rook e1? Probably play rook e1. Have you ever spoke to creators of Stockfish or AlphaZero and given your insight on some improvements? I haven't spoken to them, no. They don't need top players to do what they do, in fact. Something I realized recently. They just do their stuff. It has very little to do with chess. It is very, very... Let me try to find checkmate here. It is very, very clear process. They tune some things. They test. If it was better, they keep the changes. If not, they tune other things. They test. They keep tuning things, and they can keep testing. And at the end of the day, they come out with a better program. Probably it would save them some testing time if their initial hypotheses were more accurate. But I'm not sure that top player is able to make a huge difference in this process. The core principle is AlphaZero is to incorporate zero heuristics, hence no need for top player input. Can I give a checkmate here? Somehow? I should be able to, right? Strangely enough, I don't see a forced one. That's peculiar. You would think that there is a checkmate. There isn't. Okay, then let's make some moves. Just make some moves, to be honest. Just preserve that extra piece. Callum Kitab says, the size of shadows that you can measure simultaneously from considerable distance. These avail people to measure the radius of the Earth, even thousands of years ago. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure people quite quickly were onto this. I was more kidding when I said that there is no reason to doubt that the Earth is flat. Best one-liner joke, you know. Right now, I'm not in a joking mood. So these jokes don't come quickly to mind. Do you think the world is flat? I don't think the world is flat now. Also, what means the world? You mean the Earth? Or the world as a whole? Dutch defender says, and by the way, because NL is such a small country, we're very much aware of the outside world. Let me set a small trap, knight 3. If he takes my knight, I checkmate him in 1. If he takes my rook, though, we are in an endgame where I'm knight up. That was a fun game. Thank you, Dr. Grijanderl, for playing. Let's take Bobby's Bunny. Bobby's Bunny is a premium member. He's rated 20 to 49. And he's offered me to play with increment. I'll play 1c4. Okay, b6. Let me go for e4. Very principled. Changing my mind. I am going to fight for the center after all. e5. Wow, interesting. The bishop on b7 is a little bit odd in this pawn structure. But I have weakened my d4 square severely. Interesting. What am I going to do? Let's think a little bit. Let's take a moment here. You could go for d4. You could also go for d3. Let me try and play it in the English spirit. Just play d3. Maybe even bishop to e2 passive. Let's play passive. Bishop to e2. Let's just play passive. Arguing that bishop on b7 is not very good. And I just want to complete my development. Play it slow. But I have to admit, I have certainly not played the most principled way. And I feel, although the bishop on b7 is not well placed, yeah, he has quite a lot of things in return for that. More than I would like him to have. Okay, will you have to wear masks in OTB games? Probably not. Probably not. We didn't have to wear masks in most of the tournaments that I played. Well, I only played one. But I don't think you have to wear masks. No, I played 2, Vaikanze and the candidates. That's what I played. And in both, we didn't have to wear masks. No, there is a lot of testing there. There's testing there, and they make sure enough measures are taken that there is no need to play with masks. That would also be very, very problematic because it limits your oxygen intake, and in the long run, could get difficult. Now it's a very interesting question. Do I take with the c pawn or the e pawn? I am going to play against this c5 bishop. I'm going to try and isolate it. But the question is, if I go cd, I give him that f5 counterplay, but is that an issue? If I had my f pawn on f4, I would have taken cd without a doubt. But now, how am I going to use that majority? My intuition told me cd, but maybe both are not going to give me anything tremendous. Well, now I'm going to win a pawn. I will open his bishop, but I'm going to win a pawn. Enough knight d4, bishop d4. I've got queen a4 check. Does he only play against high-rated players? Definitely not, no. We played, no. Well, yeah, I don't think so, no. I don't have a rating preference. I usually play players of all levels here. Usually starting from as low as I can see, really, and all the way up to 3,000 something sometimes. Let me go knight f5 or knight f3. It is said that there are chips in vaccines. Do you think it's true, Anish? But I wonder why people come up with theories usually they somehow base them on the fact that there is a lack of evidence supporting sort of the official information, but then they come up with something else that also has no evidence. You know what I mean? Like there is no evidence that there are no chips in the vaccine, but there's definitely no evidence that there aren't. No, the way around. There is no evidence that there aren't chips in the vaccine, but there certainly also isn't evidence that there are. Anyway, I don't think so. I'm a bit confused there. I wasn't able to complete my thought. I had a thought. I just wasn't able to transfer it due to my lack of communication skill, primarily. And possibly, lack of energy at this point in time today. Okay, now I've got a lot of extra pawns, so I'm feeling good. Feeling good. He's got nice bishops, but really, realistically, with so many pawns missing, I should be completely winning. I can play, yeah, f5 is his only chance. I shouldn't have allowed it, but it's not a big deal. Let me think, how am I going to do it now? Let's play queen d3. Yeah, I'm not playing it all too precise, but I have a lot of extra pawns, so this should all be winning. Anish, what the heck happened earlier in Henry Brain? What happened? Nothing happened. Crunchy move. Maybe they do not limit the oxygen intake, but as long as the guy feels discomfort, it's referring to the internal and the fact that it doesn't offer any diff at all. They don't limit the oxygen intake. The masks? I mean, of course, I'm team masks. Don't get me wrong. But it's harder to breathe, no? With the mask. Like, you cannot deny that. Right? I mean, if we take COVID aside, let's say, like, besides that it very much prevents the spread of often infection, you rather don't have a mask than you do, no? I mean, there definitely, you don't feel the same, no? Or I shouldn't talk about it anyway. People will take it the wrong way. Masks are, of course, very important to stop the spread of infection. Everybody knows that. Let's go to k8, maybe trade that rook. You're breathing more into the air, you are exhaling for sure. And are your chessable courses too advanced for bad players like me? Let me check your rating. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Definitely not. I think my courses are fine for a wide variety of players. Maybe if you are a complete beginner, you do have to get some basics elsewhere. But if you are above 1,000, 1,200, definitely 1,500, you are definitely ready for it. I do think you should know, like, should be able to recognize where the piece is hanging, should be able to know and really have a good command over basic rules of chess. Know that you should fight for center, develop your pieces, all that. Once you know that, and you can recognize the piece hanging, you can start studying my courses, I think. I really try to explain everything very clearly. Red ribbon, 1700. You seem less energetic, sarcastic today. No, I have plenty of energy. I'm just trying to behave very well this time. And we are 1 hour into my Banter Blitz, and I more or less behaved quite well. Although I almost said something stupid a few times. Appear to look like a flat earther. Said a few strange things about masks. So effectively, I didn't manage anyway. But I tried. That's all that matters. You certainly have to try. On which platform are your courses available? My courses are available on Chessable platform. Is the Grand Chess Tour happening anymore? No news on that front. I think Grand Chess Tour is happening. I got my, like, I have, you know, I was asked to send my flight details and all that. And nobody said anything about them not happening. So I guess no news is good news. But we'll have to see. How long is the Banter Blitz? Typically 90 minutes. The Banter Blitz is 90 minutes, just a perfect amount of time for you to enjoy it. Who is the funniest grandmaster you know? I think Raja is one of the funniest grandmasters I know. Definitely. Definitely. Raja is incredibly funny. And that is not even what you see on the streams, or I mean, yeah, just very, very professional humor skills. Very professional humor skills. Jubawa, I don't think Jubawa is that funny. I will call it funny. He's entertaining, of course, but in terms of humor skills, the speed of witty remarks, the ability to mimic people, Raja is hands down the funniest person I know from chess community. Okay, any tips about shifting from 1 e4 to 1 d4? Well, take one pawn on the left side of your e-pawn, and you should be good. You have shifted successfully from 1 e4 to 1 d4. Mr. Reza West says hello. Hello, Mr. Reza. He doesn't find Magnus funny. Well, Magnus, he has the ability to make an occasional witty remark pretty quickly sometimes on a good day. But okay, I don't know him enough in real life. But I really doubt that he's as funny as Timur Rajabov. I really doubt that. I mean, to be as funny as Timur, you have to be professional. You have to be a professional. I've watched a lot of stand-up comedy also. I have watched a lot of professionals. And the Timur funny, that is just really up there. Really up there. And as I already mentioned, what you get to see on the streams, it's not even half it. Levi is also funny. Yeah, Levi is also funny. Levi seems very funny as well. Yeah, Levi is pretty funny. Ivanchuk and Grishuk are quite funny. I think Grishuk's delivery is very funny, for sure. I think purely in terms of content, I don't think it's that deep, the humor, but the delivery is very funny. Also, he's going for that Russian guy thing. Ivanchuk, probably unintentionally. You know who's funny? Kasparov. Kasparov. Wow. No, Garry Kimmich Kasparov is not trying to be funny. He is not going for the funny points. Let's put it this way. He is, of course, very educational and entertaining person. Not call that funny. Now we are crashing through on the king side. And note, Black forgot to develop the knight from b8. To be really funny, you need a dark side. That could be true. Raja has a dark side, for sure. One time Raja made such a dark joke. I was like, Timur? And he was like, what? I was like, really? He was like, yeah, it's completely fine. I was like, don't think so. He's like, no, it's fine. I was like, really don't think so, Timur? I don't think that was fine. He was like, no, it's fine. And I said, let's agree to disagree. But usually, I'm on board. Ben Feingold is sarcastic. Ben Feingold is also very funny. I just suspect though, okay, but that's the case with everyone. There's like a repertoire that everybody has, even the professionals. And then once you've seen the repertoire, it's kind of harder. Although there are people who do very, very well improvisational comedy, and they keep coming up with new things. I don't know if Ben Feingold comes up with new things though. Probably he does. I don't know. Okay, let's play somebody very low rated. Somebody earlier told me, but you know that everybody is really high rated here. Like 1500 is lowest. Okay, 1400 is here. I don't see anyone lower than 1400. It's just a very strong platform, it seems. I don't know. I don't see anyone. It's because they're premium. Of course, if you're a premium member, you spend all this time learning chess content, you get good, you get so good that, okay, I found 1300, still high rating, but Anish, do you care about being funny? No, already 1 hour. I'm not being funny, and that's fine. Simon Williams is pretty humorous in a non-joking way. Simon Williams can also be very entertaining, for sure. Yasser keeps smiling all the time. You would feel guilty to not smile together with that guy. Yes. Yasser also has a lot of interesting stories. Okay, MK161257, premium member. This system with bishop g5. Kramnik used it a lot in his blitz games. Now black gets that knight e4 move with the tempo hitting the bishop. First, you buy premium. It can be just for 1 month only. Then you click on the username and click challenge. Yeah, but of course, obviously, it doesn't guarantee that you get picked out. But what it does guarantee is that you have access to lots of perks as a premium member of this beautiful platform. And I'm hearing it's only going to improve. You see those rumors that the play zone is getting renewed and content keeps growing as well. They have also asked me to record the Chess 24 series, which I might do soon. Well, relatively soon, I guess. So besides Chessable, there is also going to be more content on Chess 24 itself. Also, I suspect that Playzone will have some kind of cool perks. Let's see about that. Let's see about that. Yes, how to challenge, not how to get accepted. For sure. For sure. There are so many hours of content on Chess 24, it will take you years to watch it all. Of course. But I don't think the idea is that you watch everything. I think the idea is that they have something for everyone, and then everyone chooses a few of these things that are meant for him. So I think realistically, in a couple of years, if you give enough time to self-study, you will be able to finish most of the things you're interested in. But then by the time you're done, there will be more stuff because it's an ever-growing library of content. Looking forward to the Crypto Cup, definitely. It doesn't feel right for Anish to behave so well right now. Malak and Rivan. It might not. But as a social experiment, I think we ought to try. I think it's important to behave well sometimes as well. It's important quality. It's an important quality. Behaving badly is only nice when you know you can always start behaving well. And how do you know that you can behave well? If you don't try. Are you choosing low-rated players in Banter whenever you feel like to focus on the chat? No. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, and in general, I'm not being too competitive about Banter Blitz. I did win all my games in the last 3 Banter Blitzes, but because I'm being too competitive, I'm just lucky. I do try to play normal chess, and usually that is enough for me to win my games. Anish, what does a normal day of chess work study look like for you? Wow, that's a good question. Well, I spend a lot of time preparing, studying different openings. But I might also play some, I can win an exchange here, by the way. I might also play some, this is just an exchange. Play some blitz. I'm thinking because I have queen f4 as well. G3, queen h6. It is a little too sophisticated. Let's just grab that exchange. Enjoy life. Possibly queen f4 was stronger. Yes, KS, what? Okay, let's see. The price decreased. Let's see if the price continued to decrease of Bitcoin. No, there's some stabilization happening. But indeed, since the moment the tournament was announced, we have a significant dip. The good news, though, is that perhaps during the event, it will keep growing. We'll see. Hard to tell. Nobody knows, really. Really, nobody knows. If anybody knew, there would be such an easy way to make money. That would be almost too easy. Would you recommend Sicilian for less than 1200? Yeah, I think Sicilian is healthy enough. If you are just a beginner, maybe e4, e5 first, just the first month or two. But Sicilian is really healthy enough for a 1200 or slightly under. Do watch a matter? Usually not. No, usually not. I usually am very much up to date on chess news already. And I have seen these games already. So I think that Agat Matar is, well, from his videos mostly, I already know 90% of that. So for me, it's not the most efficient way to spend my time. But I think he does a tremendous job of bringing regular updates of chess community to the chess community. And I very much appreciate him. Okay, let's play Mr. Starbot from Russia, premium member as well. What is your favorite subject in school? Ooh, what was my favorite subject? That's a great question. I do not remember. Let me try to remember. I liked maths. I liked drama. I had drama class at some point. You know that? Oh, I played the Niederbrecht. Do you know how many times when I was recording my Dragon course, how many times I played A6 instead of G6? My hand is going there. My hand is going towards the A6 pawn. It happened all the time. All the time I was trying to input moves. Whenever I have to go G6, I just play A6. Too much Nidor for me. But it's fine. It's fine. Nidor is a good opening. I like drama. Yeah, I like drama. It was surprisingly fun. But I think we had it not for too long. I don't think we had it for too long. Math. Yeah, what else did I like? Chemistry. No, I can't say I liked chemistry. Chemistry was challenging at some point. But challenging. Got really challenging at some point, chemistry, but I was still okay with it. I wanted to be fine in everything. I think I'll play. I think I recommend H5. Wait, do I recommend H5 or is it for Rook C8 first? It's embarrassing. I don't even remember my own course. Let me think. No, it was not Rook C8 first. It was H5 first. Yeah. So chemistry. Yeah, chemistry is interesting, but it's very challenging. H4, wow. I think I'll use that G4 square for my knight. What other subjects I liked? Oh, at some point I liked history. History was I liked history at some point, especially when we had a good teacher. It was like listening to stories. They would tell you stories. You just sit back, you listen to the story. And there comes a test. You write down the story that they told you. And they're happy. You're happy. Everybody's happy. Oh, when I was a small kid, I really liked logic. I was very good at logic. We had a subject called logic. I was a beast. I was like miles ahead of my class. When everybody was stuck on exercise 10, I was already at exercise 20. A teacher needed to do separate exercises for me. I was ahead of everyone by a mile. I was so good at logic. I don't know why. I don't see any logic behind it. I was really good. I was like the king of logic. That was a long time ago. Tell us about the theater classes you took. No, I didn't take theater classes, okay? We didn't go this far. We had drama class as part of our regular curriculum. Is logic even a thing? Exactly. Exactly. Is it even a thing? It's very hard for me to pick out a good move here, by the way. I don't know, I'll take maybe, I'll trade. Knight b6, perhaps sending the knight to c4. Drama, yeah, we had drama. That was funny. We had to act, you know. That was pretty funny. I found it very interesting. Especially as you can treat your classmates in a certain way. and then have the excuse of this being just acting, basically. So you could shout at someone, be furious, and tell them what you think about them, and then say, yeah, I was in my character. My character was furious at your character. So I think that was interesting. It was a lot of fun, especially when other students were also into it. Then it's really a lot of fun. If you're not into it, then it's not really fun. Your wife or Sagar, who would win? I think these days my wife could beat Sagar. I think so. I think my wife is very tactically sharp and alert. She's always tactically sharp and alert, like always. She could not play chess for a year. Wake her up, she's gonna speed them tactics. She's like Judith Polgar. Of course, at her own level, but when it comes to tactics, she's like naturally gifted. I think must be the upbringing, years of tactics. You against your wife, who will win? Well, that very much depends on the game you play. I'm losing most games to my wife, but chess I could probably win. She crushes me at memory, though. She is a beast in memory as well. Total beast. No chance. Not even close. Okay. Sofika won a very nice chess 960 tournament in Norway. She won as well a 960 tournament in Georgia. She was ahead of like everyone, all these Zaknidze and all these top players of Georgia. She's very, very strong. 960 in particular. Dr. Shah. It's time to play Dr. Shah. Dr. Shah is 2500. Very strong player. Is there any special way you manage your time in a 1 hour, 30-minute game? I think with 30-second increment. I think that is something you really need to have a lot of practice on. I don't think there are quick tips or tricks. Strongest players misuse their time and again. It's just something you really learn. Interesting. He plays the classical Dutch, the junior GM Dutch in reverse. The thing about these structures, usually you get to meet e4 with e5. That's what you should do usually. G3, I'm not sure that makes much sense, but let's see. Let's really what? Knight h5? Let's play knight h5. It's probably what he provokes, but what the hell? What the hell? See, I don't know, the statement like, what the hell? I don't know how bad that is. I'm not native, so it could be very bad, in which case I'm very sorry. But if it's not, then it's fine. I'm not native. Yeah, knight h5 was not accurate. Queen h4. Wow. Yeah, I was planning e5, but I realized you can just take on d8, rook d8, and then take on e5, and I take, he takes on h5, I put gh. Probably still fine. But not better. Let's do that anyway. Let's play it principled. Do you have any tips for a player preparing for the National Rapid Championship? Okay, prepare a little bit your openings. Do some tactics online. Do the tactics trainer. Play some practice games on the platform of your choice, which hopefully is just 24. You should be ready. I decided to go with this position because I believe it is fine. And I wanted to play objective chess in the stream. Not try to play for little tricks. Just try to play the best moves and hope that I'll prevail in the end. Interesting. We play b6. Bishop c3 weakens the d3 pawn quite a little bit. But he can play knight f3 now and protect it with rook to d1. Still, c3 I believe was not the best. The problem though is winning this position is going to be very hard for me. Very difficult. Knight e5 here is strong. Not sure he'll see it, but knight e5 I have bishop g6. Or bishop e6. Knight g5 doesn't bother me. Anish, can a 25-year-old beginner in chess become a professional chess player? Professional chess player, probably yes, but probably not making money just playing. Because to make money just playing, you need to be in the top something of the world, and that is highly unlikely when you start this late. But you certainly could become a coach, or a writer, or an author. I think that is still very much on the cards. Let's play f6 and bishop 1, we go bishop h6. I guard that e5 square. I have the e4 square for my bishop. Should be doing well. Look at that e4 bishop, unchallenged. What do you think about the Gelfand Anand World Championship match? Fascinating match, actually. Fascinating match. There was a lot. At the time, was a lot of criticism. I think about. There was a lot of tension at the time. A lot of tension. I think there was. I remember a lot of tension around that match, but it really was an exciting match, and finally everybody agreed on that. Whenever I play knight f5, I mostly mix up the lines. Well, I don't know if I said it before, but you should study my knight, of course. And you should use that move trainer. Keep repeating those lines. Sooner or later, you'll remember them. There's really no other way but grinding it out. And, very importantly, trying to pay attention. This is only when you pay attention that you are able to memorize something. Perhaps try to understand the moves you are seeing. Try to establish an emotional bond. Look at the move. Maybe feel happy about it. Or feel another emotion, perhaps anger or distress. And then maybe you will be able to remember. When the moment comes, you'll be like, oh, that's the move that made me angry. Yeah, wow. Dr. Shah's doing well, but I have an idea. Let's take first. Taking with rook is clever. I wanted to. Let's play bishop f5. Can I can trap him? No, I maybe trapped him. Kind of trapped him. His rook trapped. Funny. Interesting. Now his pawn is pinned, so I'm up a rook. Very, very nice finish there to a very tense game. If you give all of your pawns names, it is easier to attach emotion to them. That is true. That is true. This is exactly what I meant, though. We've got just 8 minutes to go. Let's play a player called Little Gary. Little Gary is a premium member from Germany, 1500. Okay, Little Gary, pushing. Derek the D-pawn. C-pawn is called Carlos, says Sebas. Knight f3. Let me go for the King's Indian setup. Let me go for the most classic King's Indian setup here with d6 and then knight bd7. Black gives white more space in the center, but he's trying to establish a very solid defensive setup, and then counterattack against the e4 pawn. I'll just take for demonstration purpose and put some pressure on the e4 pawn, on the c4 pawn. And in a position like that, black usually is slightly worse at first, but it's very hard for white to keep track of all the tricks and all the counterplay that black has. So this kind of position is very much playable. Yesterday, Wesley So was asked who played best candidates. He said Anish Giri. Wesley is very kind. Wesley is a very kind young man. B4 is good. I have to say B4 is good. Let me offer a trade of knights then. If in this kind of positions, white plays very well. Black's likely to end up slightly worse, but it's very hard to play very well. Now after bishop e6, the c5 pawn is a target. And already have quite a bit of counterplay. B4 has weakened that c-pawn, and with his last trade, he gave me quite some time. Yeah, now queen d3 falls into knight g4. Now it's going to attack the queen from e5, and also the bishop on e3 is hanging now. Now you see how quickly such a position can turn around. Chess, very difficult game. Bishop f4, I could play knight e5 and just gain that bishop pair. It's very, very good. I think I'm just going to do that actually. But I could also play g5. G5 would also be very strong. Knight e5 is more simple and more efficient, I believe. I'll just trade. The problem is that even after the trade, even though I am having a bishop pair, white still cannot breathe free because he's got that issue with the c4 pawn that's hanging. Now I'm going to activate my d-rook. Why are you not live on Twitch as well? I don't know. You have to ask the producer of Chess24. They know very well what they broadcast and why they broadcast it. I don't know. I can play rook d3. I can play rook d4. I can play a5 as well. I have so many moves. So many options. But it's not easy to win by force. Let me go rook d3 first. Ask his knight a question. Do you play any other strategy games? No, I don't play any other games but chess. Because I believe the other games are distracting me from chess. They mess with my brain. And my brain is not to be messed with. Rex or Randy Singfield, somebody keeps asking. Depends on the pairing. I am always rooting for my own team. When I was Team Randy, I was Team Randy. When I was Team Rex, I was Team Rex. I'm a loyal team member. Now my bishop from h6 will get active. Can't just play bishop d2 here, frankly. I can also play rook d2. I think I'll go on bishop d2, there's bishop f1, then I have bishop c3. Then he has rook c1, I have rook d4. If he has rook b1, I have a lot of moves in this position. Rook d2 is also very good. Well, let's just go bishop d2, the simplest. Oh, he's got rook d1, I think. And after rook d8, bishop f1. Whatever happens, I'm always slightly better. But I am not sure if I gained the maximum out of my position. No, I certainly have. I can take the pawn on b4. And there is an important nuance there after rook b1. I can play rook d8, sacrifice the bishop on b4. And then have some trickery there down the first rank. And I could even do it here, I believe. D8 is quite strong. If rook b4, I have rook d1 check. Takes, bishop f1, and then bishop h3, setting up a thematic checkmate. I believe he's falling for it. Is he falling for it? Or have I missed something? Chat, what am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything, chat. I'm just going to take my bishop and pawn. I think all these platforms offer slightly different things. No need to choose. Okay, I've got 2 more minutes. Let's see if there's a bullet challenge out there. We'll pick that one. If not, probably should say goodbye to each other. This has been fun. It's been 1.5 hours of beautiful chess. Oh, we've got Marlum. Unfortunately, you are not a premium member. You aren't a premium member. Oh, we've got Mr. Reza West. Let's play one game with Mr. Reza West once again. Let's play a bullet game. And then we are done at exactly 7:30. Okay, let's... Okay, bishop on c4. Oh, not a good opening there, sir. A lot of moves that don't combine with each other very well. Not sure what that is about, especially pawn on f3. Ugly pawn, not doing very much. Ooh. But I guess you didn't have much time, so just make some random moves. It's a sensible strategy in bullet games, but not against me. I am far too experienced for that. That said, I have messed up nonetheless, and now we have a sharp game, but I will be a piece up at the end, so that will certainly matter. Now I win one piece, and now I win the second one as well. So tricks are there. Should be aware of tricks. I have everything under control and extra material as well. I'll give a check there. So you're not going anywhere. And now I'll just double on the e-file and do some damage. I could just take and take. And again, the other rook is going towards the h6 square. Likely I'm going to checkmate on the next move. Maybe not yet, but eventually I will. And that's a wrap. Thank you all for watching. It's been fun. See you next time. Peace. Bye-bye.